Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mr. Zoom. Welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to be talking about Axis College Football 2020. Not a real thing. We play Axis Football 19. Last year it was Axis 18. This year it's Axis 19. And then next year we're going to be doing Axis 20. Axis 20 is already out. I'm getting stuff switched around with it, putting mods in. We're getting stuff ready for that next season. But we'll talk about that a little bit later on in the video. So today, this video is going to be basically talking about the rankings of your teams, your guys' teams, and these teams going into next year. I got all the rankings figured out. They're all officially done. This screen here is just something I threw together for about, it took me like 2 minutes, if that's to throw the screen together here. Then we're going to talk about, what teams need help, what teams are the top dog teams, and what teams are, okay, and what teams really need the help. But so yeah, I guess let's just get right into it. But first off, I just want to say thank you to everybody that has watched these videos, that has subscribed, liked the videos, commented on the videos. I love hearing your guys' support. Also, I want to get this out of the way real quick. A lot of people comment and ask, how do you get this? How do you get the college teams in this game? Well, first of all, you have to have a PC, and you have to have the game through Steam. And if you do that, then you just go to the forums, click on mods. It has the NFL teams, the XFL teams, and the college teams. And you can download all of them. Thinking about doing an XFL little game thing as well. If they have that for Axis 20, I haven't checked yet. I do know they have NFL and college teams. But yeah, this is only for the PC guys. I get a lot of comments on this on every video almost. Someone comments that, and it's like, I feel like I gotta keep repeating myself. It's PC, maybe I need to put it in the title or something. But anyways, so yeah, thank you guys for the support. I'm blown away with the support we've got over the 3 years we've done this, and it's pretty cool to see. So you guys seem to be enjoying it, so I'm gonna keep doing it. But yeah, let's go ahead and get to our next screen here. Let's talk about the rankings first before we get over here to the right side. Let's talk about the left side of the screen here. These are the official rankings of the 2020 Axis College Football. As you can see, our ranked teams 1 through 16. That's how we do the rankings every season. We go 1 through 16, then we have a bunch of unranked teams. Now, in the non-ranked teams, they're not in any specific order. They're just thrown up there on the screen. And you can see there's a couple new teams added from that didn't play this season. I try to throw in new teams every year, so you might see some teams. Most generally, obviously, the top 16 is going to be in every year. And then we got teams like Penn State, LSU, Tennessee, Texas, Oklahoma. Those are teams that are always going to be in it. Also, Boise State. They're always going to be in it as well. But yeah, we're going to throw new teams in every year. I don't know if some of the teams that are in the non-ranked aren't going to be in next year, like Louisville, Tulsa, Navy. I don't know if those teams are going to be in the series next year. I know Duke will not be in the series, and Iowa was already taken out of the unranked list here. They won't be in the series next year. For some reason, I have a problem with my computer and mods. Iowa was actually supposed to play somebody earlier this year in the first game, round 1, and I think it was Nebraska they were supposed to play, and I could not get the Iowa team to load, and I'm having problems again with that Iowa team again in Axis 2020, so I'm not sure what the problem is with that, so hopefully I can get that fixed and we can figure that out. But yes, Alabama, Georgia. If you had to ask me going into the game, Georgia had scored more points in every game through the year. And real quick, I just want to get this off so everybody knows. These are just computer-generated games. I just spectate, hit the record button, I let everything go. I thought about doing live commentary. We might get into that later down the road. I prefer to do just the stuff in the game, just because I think it's easier, and the game's so fast-paced already. Like, there's no, cinematic camera views or anything. Timeouts just take 1 second. 2-minute warnings, 1 second. The team's right back. So it's like you're talking really fast, and you can't even catch your breath, and it just the stuff just doesn't sound right. So that's why I just let it do the commentary that's in the game. Just leave it go. So yeah, it's all computer versus computer. I have no say in who wins. I don't play the games over and over again to get who I want to win. So yeah, there's nothing. I can't rig it. I do it straight down the line. Whoever wins is whoever they win. Now the rankings, I rank those off of points. So that's where we're going to go. You could argue and say the Bobcats couldn't even be in the top 16, but they did make it, and so they didn't score that many points this year. But if you also go back and look at Alabama, they didn't score any points until they played Georgia, which I was really surprised. I thought Georgia was going to kill them, but it didn't happen. So that was kind of, it was neat, though, to see. So let's go ahead and talk about the rankings. Alabama is the champions this season. If you look to the right side of the screen, our champions, Boise State, 2018, 2019, back-to-back champions. I don't know what happened to them this year. Alabama never even got out of the first round the other 2 seasons, I don't believe. I know they didn't last year, but the year before, I don't know if they did or not. But this year, they've come back, and they've won the whole thing. So cool to see that team kind of progress. Georgia, number 2. They were number 2 last year. I believe they were number 2 the year before. I'm pretty sure they was. They've been number 2 each year. It'd be interesting to see how they do moving on next year, because their whole team is getting changed up. We're changing defensive players. We're changing offensive players. No one's going to be the same team on that team or Alabama. A lot of these teams are getting changed up. Ohio State will mostly be the same. Clemson will mostly be the same. But Michigan State, Georgia, Alabama, those are just teams. Michigan also, they're getting changed up on rosters on defense and offense. So it's hard telling, with stat-wise and names and players, who's going to go where. So those teams are getting changed up again. Next season, Texas A&M's number 3. I thought they did okay this year. Nebraska probably did a little better. Probably should have been ranked higher, but I just kind of felt that they, for some reason, Texas A&M just played a little bit stronger on the defensive side of things. So yeah, that's why they're number 3. Nebraska number 4. They played really good this year. I can't remember what they placed last season. I have bad memory when it comes to these things. Ohio State, I think they were top 10 last year as well. So yeah, they're number 5 this year, so they did improve their position. Clemson did fall. They were number 3 last year. Now they're number 6 this year. Didn't play as good as expected, really. The Bobcats really shined. They went from an unranked team clear to rank number 7 going into next season. Michigan State, I think they were number 14 or 13 last year, so they did improve on their ranking. The UCF Knights, I don't think I even had them in the series last year, and they come out and I think they exploded in the first game. Then they lost to Ohio State, which was honestly kind of surprising. So they're number 9, really high-scoring team. Michigan, number 10. I think they were number 11 last year. Don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure. But they're number 10. The Ducks, when they first come out and they played, they put up like 40 points. I think they have the record of my series of how many points are put on the board. I can't remember who they played exactly. You're going to hear me say that. I can't remember. You're going to hear me say that a lot in this video. But they scored some great points. I really figured that they were going to go like at least the last round and be a part of that championship game. So it was very surprising to see them not go. Notre Dame, number 12. They played pretty good this year. They didn't do too bad. Wisconsin, 13. About the same way with them. They kind of just really thought that they were going to go a little further than they did. But didn't turn out that way. Maybe next year. I think Wisconsin, I know Notre Dame is. There'll be teams that get some roster switch around. Ole Miss will be a roster switch around as well. Utah, I'm not sure exactly, so I'll have to do some more research. But they are number 15, Ole Miss number 14. USC, the Trojans, was expecting them. This is the first time I've ever had them in Axis football. And from years past, they've been top teams. Not in my series, but, as an actual team in real life. I don't know what they're ranked in real life. I don't even know if they're any good. Because I haven't heard of them since I was younger. But, they got to rank 16. They didn't play that good this year. But every team below on the non-ranked teams, they just did not really get it done this year. Surprisingly, I did have a mess up in the roster for some reason. LSU, I switched it over to their new quarterback earlier this year when we first played like game 1. For some reason, I switched back to Joe Burrow. I'm not sure why. But that happened there. So LSU, excuse me for that. I'm talking a lot. I get kind of like, my throat gets dry. But Penn State, Tennessee, Baylor, Texas, Navy, Oklahoma, Minnesota, Boise State, Duke, Tulsa, Louisville, BYU, Miami, Army, North Carolina, Oklahoma State, Florida Gators, and Auburn, all unranked teams. Because we only go to 16, obviously. So the best 16 get ranks. New teams that are on this list are Duke. I can't remember if Duke played this year. I know I should know this. I think Duke didn't play this year, so they'll be in next year. BYU, Oklahoma State, North Carolina, and Army. Army was supposed to play. Did not happen. So, yeah. But they'll be in next season. And I might add a couple other teams and drop like Tulsa, Duke, and Minnesota. They might be teams that get dropped. I know Navy's a team that's more likely getting dropped for next season. So, yeah, it should be interesting. We might even do maybe a little bit bigger tournament next year just to get more videos out and make it more interesting and give more teams opportunities, more new teams. If you guys do have a new team that I haven't had in the series that you guys would like to see in the series, like we had the Huskies in here, Northern Huskies or something like that. They were in here. Not a team that I know or I'm familiar with, but Utah's not either. I haven't really heard. I've heard of them the last year or two because they've been pretty high ranked, I think, but I don't really know much about them. So yeah, that's the rankings going into the 2021 season, because this is 2020 season right here. I plan to start that next season around February or March. We usually try to do a season there, then do a season again at the end of the year like I did this one. So moving on to the right side of the screen, we got our champions. Alabama won this year, 2020. Boise State won 2018 and 2019, back-to-back champions. The top dogs are the highest ranked, most expected to succeed teams, which we have Georgia, Alabama, Texas A&M, Nebraska, Ohio State, Clemson, and Oregon. They are going to be ones to watch and expect to win and be in playoff picture next season. The hopefuls are teams that are possibly could go, teams that that do play good. They've played good in the fall years, but they just haven't quite got it done. But they could possibly get it done, and you hope for them. Hopeful teams hope that for them to get in there. We got the Ohio Bobcats, Michigan State, UCF Knights, Michigan Wolverines, Notre Dame, Wisconsin, Ole Miss, Baylor, Texas, Longhorns, Penn State, Oklahoma, Auburn, and the Gators. All teams that are hopefuls. I'd like to see the Gators go up there a little bit and move up to the top dog spot. That's the team that I would like to see improve, which they will be getting a roster switch next year as well. Then the struggle bus teams are, just teams that they just struggle every year. They don't get very far. And if they do, they just don't put a bunch of points on the board. So we got Utah, USC, Army, Tennessee, LSU, Boise State. I know what you're thinking. How can Boise State have 2 titles and they're at the struggle bus team? They've been struggling this year. They did get a roster switch. I don't even think they made it out of round 1. They got taken out. So they're a struggle bus. They will be getting a roster switch next year along with LSU. The Minnesota will not be in the series next year, so we don't even have to really worry about them. Duke, they're just a struggle team as well. They haven't been able to get past the first round. And the bad thing is they've been putting up points, but they just haven't been able to get out of the first round. Tulsa won't be here next year, so we don't really have to worry about them. But they didn't really do that good this year either. Louisville, we will see them next year. I think they have a ton of potential, especially with a few guys we're going to switch around for their roster to update them next season. But it should be interesting to see what they do, and I'm excited to see them. I love their logo, by the way. They have one of the coolest logos, I think, in college football. Miami didn't take part in this year's season, but they did rank 6th last year. I'm not sure why I didn't put them in this year. I think I had a mod problem with them. But yeah, be interesting to see. They will be back next season. Navy, more than likely not going to show up for next season. But they didn't play very well either. I think they did put up some good points, but just probably not going to have them in next year's. Oklahoma State, I haven't had them in the series yet, so it should be interesting to see what they do. I know Oklahoma is a team that should be in the top dog spot and not be in the hopefuls. Didn't get this year. They will have Spencer Rattler next year in the season. BYU, don't know much about them, so it should be interesting to see them. They're new next year, and so is North Carolina. They're all new. Put them in the struggle bus teams, kind of because I don't really know much about any of those teams, and they're new to the series, so I should have dropped down another tab and put new teams to the series and put them there, because they're not really struggle bus teams because we don't know how they're going to play. You know what I mean? You can't base their real life performances and how they're going to act in college football. You know what I mean? So the game. So I just put them in there just to talk about that. So really, you know, Oklahoma State, BYU, and Carolina, they're not teams that are really struggle bus teams because, well, we haven't seen them play. So that is it, guys. That's, you know, kind of the lowdown of what I got from the season to kind of, you know, give you a look at what teams are good here and what teams aren't going into next season and how they played this year, because this is all based on performances that they gave this season. A lot of people could say, why do you have, you know, there's a lot of the ranked teams that are in the hopeful spot, which I think rightfully that's the right thing to do. You know what I mean? That's where they play, that's where they go. They're not top dog teams just because you're ranked. But, you know, I got the big teams up there. They played good. Nebraska has played really well. I think they have a shot at something maybe next year. Ohio State coming back with the same roster, mostly. Nebraska will come back with the same roster, mostly. Clemson will pretty much have the same roster as well. Oregon will have a switch up. Alabama and Georgia will have a switch up, and I believe Texas A&M has a switch up as well. So thank you guys for watching. What I mean by switch up means I'm going to switch their rosters around to the people that actually play for them this year or going in next year. So if you guys would, smack the like button. Subscribe if you guys are excited and you've liked the series so far. Like I said, thank you guys for all the support that you've given me on this. I'm happy to do this. I love doing this. I love running my own little tournament thing here. It's really cool. It's fun to do. I enjoy it a lot, and it seems like a lot of you guys do as well. So it makes me happy to see that. And I didn't spend a whole bunch of time on either one of these screens, you know, making them look 100% professional, give them a sweet background, all that stuff. I just wanted to get it nice and clear, big and bold, so you could see what's going on. If you guys have teams that you want to recommend that should be in the tournament next year, we might make it a bigger tournament series. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. Like, subscribe, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next video.